the Elysian Annihilator 2023 edition. Let's talk about it. This IEM was bought with my own money from MusikTeck here in the United States. I did have them test it before they sent it to me. There has been a lot of concern about Elysian products, some shade from some other people, and I was concerned, so I did make sure that I had this IEM tested before it was sent to me, and I found that the channel matching is perfect. I have been using this for about 2 months now, but I wanted to repackage it for you to show you guys kind of what the unboxing experience is like. It is kind of a unique setup here. You know, I did learn from the best that you do have to, push from underneath here to get these IEMs out. And so it has a nice little presentation. It's kind of not the most exciting thing, but it's pretty neat. It has this little drawer after you open it up here. And when you open this drawer up, you will get some other paperwork that comes in here and the little case that you've seen on my desk probably in many of my videos over the last few months or weeks. It is a black, simple case. It kind of has a felt feeling to it. It's kind of nice and black. In it, we have a full set of W1 spin fit tips. These are the only tips that come with the Annihilator. It is not super exciting. It's not a bad selection of tips by any means, but you don't really get much. You have a cleaning tool and a nice little scarf and a little thing to put around the cable. So it's not super exciting, but it is a nice packaging overall. There is some other paperwork we're going to kind of take a minute and look at. Right now, the only additions that they have are the Elysian Diva 2023 edition, which comes in 3 different colors and 3 different tunings. Has a nice little owner's card and this nice little brochure almost. Now, something to note about the Annihilator is it does come in 3 different metallic plates. Mine is titanium. It also comes in steel and it comes in gold. This does feel like a nice unboxing experience, but it's not the best unboxing experience I've ever had in my life, but it is of extremely high quality. Everything is perfect, and it is a nice experience for what it is. I'm going to try to review this IEM to the best of my ability, but sometimes it's hard to criticize your heroes or criticize products that you are a huge fan of and do it in a way that make it seem fair and adequate. But we're going to try. Now let's look at the shell. The shell is a really nice shell. We're going to compare this to my 2 benchmarks that I try to compare this to. This is because most of the time I have the Annihilator in ear and the Fat Frequency Grand Maestro is much bigger. So if you look at this versus the Afu Magic 1, you'll notice they both have kind of that nice little lip on the end. The Annihilator is a little bit larger, but I don't have any problems fitting it in my ear, and I was able to try this on before I purchased this unit. So it's something kind of to consider. Now let's look at this versus the Grand Maestro. You tell us the Grand Maestro is about 20 to 30% bigger, has a longer nozzle, a little bit wider length. It fits well, but it is a little bit of a challenge. Whoops. They are both large shells. They both have a lot of unique qualities. You can see they both have similar shapes and a lot of good things going on here. So you can tell there's a lot of great things going on here when you look at this IEM. Now, I do want to talk about some of the problems with this IEM. It does only come in a 4.4, which isn't always a bad thing, but sometimes I want to use it on, say, an Apple dongle or something a little bit more simple. I did try to recable this IEM, but I did not like the cables that I got. I find that the stock cable is just really beautiful. It shimmers well. It kind of opens up and has this fun feeling. So it's something you can kind of play with as you use this IEM. And it's just kind of a really nice experience. So I did get this nice little connector you'll see in the background there. And I really like this cable. I think it's beautiful. It has some minor issues with comfort, like this top metal section you'll see will sometimes hurt my ear when it comes in. It also is a Pentacon connection, which is not an MMCX. It is not a 2-pin, and so it is a unique connection, meaning that it is very hard to cable swap this IEM. It can be done, but I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're having problems. Like this little lip, you can tell here, does give me comfort issues. I wanted to show you how I store this IEM. I generally store it in this little plastic bin I got here. Buddy of mine uses these and with his IEMs, and it works really well. I usually store it with this little connector as well, and this, you can tell, it's a nice little mesh and works quite well. This is kind of how I keep my Annihilator. It's not too exciting, but I can fit it in my pocket, and I like how I can see it from the plastic case and know what it is, so I can grab it when I want to use it for comparisons or just for listening pleasure. Overall, this IEM has excellent packaging, and I really appreciate it. One of the things that I need to do better at is describing the sound as a reviewer, and I'm trying to get better at using flowery speech. For me, it doesn't really work sometimes. I feel like I'm just kind of muttering and kind of talking out my you-know-what. But this IEM is really special to me. It has a really great bass response. A lot of people talk smack about it, that it doesn't. Its treble sounds holographic and perfect to my ears. It sounds better than most headphones that I've ever listened to. It's like perfection. It's almost like being at a concert. This does have a little bit more of an intimate, studio-like experience, a little bit less organic. It feels really well. Vocals come across really sweet and lovely. Again, I love this IEM, and again, it's hard to kind of critique your heroes and critique what is perfect. It's exceedingly enjoyable, and it's hard to say if there's be any faults other than that it might be spicy in the treble. The vocals or timbre may not be for everyone. The detail level can be overwhelming. It can also be a little bit fatiguing with that so much information. The Elysian Annihilator 2023 graph. I really like the graph of this IEM, and I really like the tone of this IEM, and there's a reason why I always try to display it on my squig link. What can I say about it? I really like this dip at around 5-6K. I really like the energy at around 10K. I really like this extra bass boost up until about 200. I think that's the key. I think having a lot of bass up until about the 200 cutoff really helps the tonality of an IEM for me a great deal. So let's compare it versus a few other IEMs and kind of go up the price category. I talk a lot about the Chopin. I love the Chopin. I think it's a great IEM. It has an amazing fit that's unique to IEMs, and I think that's something to remember, but sonically it's also a nice IEM. You'll notice a lot of very similar things. Now, do they sound the same? No. The Elysian Annihilator sounds a lot richer, a lot stronger. I like it a lot more. But the Chopin I actually use sometimes when I'm trying to test IEMs to try to let me know what an IEM at this price category can be. So for that, I really like the Chopin, and I think that's part of the reason why I talk about it a lot, is because it reminds me a lot of the Annihilator, and it's a special set. All right, let's go up the price category. This is the High Senior Mega 5 EST. This one has been talked up a lot recently at CanJam by a lot of the headphones.com team. I think this is a very solid set. I think it's one of my biggest problems with it is that it's expensive and it lacks a lot of bass. And for me, I really wanted to have a perfect bass heavy IEM that would contrast with the Annihilator. I felt like the Mega 5 EST, it felt like a $300 set, and it just did not feel like something that I really wanted to love and enjoy. So I went ahead and traded it. Let's look at the Monarchs. Now, the Monarchs both have their problems. The Monarch Mark III has a lot of 5 to 6K energy. Its bass response is really good. It is a really fun set. The Monarch Mark II is a really good set, but it lacks bass for me, and it sounds a little bit too sweet, almost like a monitor. And so for me, neither of them really gave me the engagement factor of the Annihilator, and I think they're good sets, but they're not on the level of the Annihilator, but yet they are really good. The last one we're going to look at, and we'll talk about this one later, is the Fat Frequency Grand Maestro. Now I have all 5 frequencies and graphs up here with the Annihilator. I think the reason I like the Annihilator a little bit better is that it's less hassle. I know what I'm going to get out of the Annihilator. Every once in a while the Grand Maestro switches will switch up and down. Sometimes I won't even know it, and they'll kind of flip on me, which isn't a terrible thing. There also is a little bit extra energy right around that 3K region, which can be a little tiny bit fatiguing, but it's not bad. They both complement each other really, really well, and I will do a full review of the Fat Frequency Grand Maestro because it's a beautiful set, and I want to talk about it, but you know, I get busy sometimes. So I've tried to review my favorite IEM. I'm not sure if I'm successful or not, but I just wanted to say I really like it. This IEM does a lot for me. It kind of comforts me, and it's always reliable. I know that it doesn't have funky switches or any kind of dip switches to worry about. It's simple. It's clear. It's like glass. It's fun. It's engaging all at the same time. It's just my type of neutrality, and I fully enjoy and I fully recommend this to those that are looking for this style of IEM. I mean, it has a few problems, like the cable being uncomfortable, like the price being a little bit for many, but if you're really looking for the best and what is just an amazing IEM, this is something I would recommend to you. But again, like anything above maybe say $200, I would recommend demoing it first before you blind buy it. I demoed this first. I loved it then, and I still love it now. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. You're still here. It's over. Go home. Go watch another IEM video. It's done. That's the entire video. What more do you want?